It's really nice to see very familiar faces, no? And also be back on the red dot for an X speaking, no? So yung una namin ni Miss Gail, TEDx, ISOG X naman ngayon. So ang binigay pong topic sa akin is cybersecurity in the national defense setting, no? Very, very apt for the Armed Forces of the Philippines. The Armed Forces of the Philippines missions to safeguard the nation's digital frontier. So, ang nangyari po within the year, we have formally declared cyber as the fourth domain of operations for the Armed Forces of the Philippines, along with land, air, and sea. So we have land, air, sea, and now cyber. So with this, no, ang tinitignan natin dito, we are not just guarding our coastlines now. Kasama na ni dito, we are defending code, content, and of course, consciousness. So, from the SIX family, I'm a signal officer. The SIX family is C4S, no? Command, Control, Communications, and Cyber. And now, being designated as the spokesperson of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, tumawid tayo towards information domain. And the information domain, napakalaking usapin din siya because for information warfare, tumawid uli siya to another type of warfare which is cognitive warfare. What we say, what we read, what we see, yung mga nakikita natin online, nagkakaroon siya ng effect on how we perceive things. So ang malaking usapin dito is yung paggamit ng artificial intelligence. Bakit? Kasi pag may sarili na kayong perception, for example, meron kayong kinikilingan isang gusto, no, and iniintinding isang partido. AI will also feed you the very same the very same data as kung ano yung una nyong gusto. So ang nangyayari nito, nawawala yung pagtingin natin ng different perspectives. So hindi na natin nawe-weigh yung iba't ibang pananaw because of AI, na-channel tayo towards one line of thinking. And this is something na we really need to address para makita natin yung iba't ibang aspeto. So as I said, there's land, sea, air, and now the cyber domain. And this is all where everything comes into play, no? So with cyber domain now, dito din pumupunta yung tinatawag nating gray zone tactics. In the Philippines, we term this gray zone tactics as ICAD activities, no? So yung nangyayari po dito sa geopolitical tensions that we're facing in the West Philippine Sea, it transcends to the cyber domain by how? Propaganda materials, no? Misinformation, disinformation, malinformation, all leading to fake news, no? And propaganda materials. And how we could address this is something that we have to look into in the cyber field, no? In the cyber defense field. So why cybersecurity matters in the AFP? Because meron na ngang another battlefield out there, which is the digital battlefield. So it is invisible, but it is decisive. So dito, ang problema natin sa cyber domain, wala siyang perceived na borders na talagang known. No? There's cross-border regulations as well. So paano pag may tumawid, no? Data is transferring from one place to the other. If there are incidents, sinong mananagot, no? Kaninong batas sila mananagot? Yun bang perpetrator or yung victim? So maraming mga ganong usapin. So dito po, we're trying to address this by declaring cyber as the fourth domain of operations when we do balikatan exercises and other exercises with like-minded nations and well-meaning nations, kasama na ngayon pati ang cyber activities, no? Cyber exercises. Kasi nga, it's now one part of a battlefield that we are facing. So cyber attacks on military and civilian infrastructure is also there. So ang isang tinututukan natin are critical infrastructures. So what are critical infrastructures? Ito, pag nagalaw to, would entail a national security implication. So these are our power lines, no? Water, telcos, no, communication lines, yan. And kung makita nyo, yung huling mga nahuli natin with espionage activities, ano ba yung mga pinupuntahan nila and minamap nila na areas? our power lines, no? Our water systems, camps, PNP camps, AFP camps, and pati ang mga malls. So ang tanong dyan, bakit pati malls? Kasi ang Pilipino, we are mall goers, no? Pag mainit ang panahon, nasa mall tayong lahat, nagpapalamig. So therefore, there is a lot of individuals inside a mall at any one time. So I don't know if they consider that as a critical infrastructure, but of course, we have to look into the consideration na mataong lugar nga itong mga ito, no? And of course, we also looking at hybrid warfare and gray zone tactics. Kanina nasabi ko nga, no? And gray zone tactics for a Filipino, we term it as ICAD. Illegal, coercive, aggressive, and deceptive. Kasi pag sinabi nating gray zone tactics yan, para nating gina-justify na okay lang yan kahit winater cannon tayo. Okay lang yan kahit na ni-laser lights tayo. Kasi gray zone naman yan, bordering lang yan, no? Hindi yan antagonistic. No, it's not. Those are ICAD. The mere presence are illegal. The things that they do are coercive, they are aggressive, and also yung lalo na sa cyber domain, it's deceptive, no? Yung mga propaganda. So cyberspace now, we can say, is integral to national defense, and it is no longer just a support mechanism, no? Hindi na siya sa support but nasa front lines na siya. In fact, it's actually a battlefield in itself. So ang mga samples nito, 2023, no, nagkaroon tayo ng hack of Philippine government sites. So massive itong attacks on different sites, no? So PhilHealth was hacked, no? Lalo na napakaraming data ang nandyan sa PhilHealth because nangyari ang pandemic. Dahil nagkaroon ng pandemya, halos lahat tayo may data na nandoon sa PhilHealth. So kung makuha nila yon, it's also very much updated because of the pandemic nga. So over and above that, meron hacking incident na nangyari sa ating FEO, sa police, no? And ano ang nakuha nila when they hacked FEO? They know who among us has firearms and what type of firearms each and everyone has, no? So alam nila kung sino yung mga kayang dumepensa in terms of having these firearms, no? So yun, we also had the incident in Kaap, no? Yung maraming mga eroplanong hindi lumipad at that time, and that shows that it affects also our economy dahil we lost millions because of the inability of the aircrafts to fly during that day. So, yun, in 2024, nagkaroon tayo ng critical infrastructure dito sa Asia that were targeted with state-sponsored groups. So, tinitingnan natin dyan, yung mga attack vectors natin, they have different motives for doing that. And ang pinakamalaking hinaharap natin ngayon, because of the geopolitical tensions, are nation-state actors. So, siguro naman sa mga naunang nagsalita, no, they have been discussing the different attack vectors. So, nation-state actors po with their geopolitical tensions, ang malaki nating hinaharap. So, cyber is now a battlefield with real-world conflict scenarios that we are facing. So, why the Philippines is a target? No? Because we have, in a nutshell, geopolitical tensions. So, ang geopolitical tensions natin, nag-ugat siya saan? Sa fictitious 9-line claim ng China. When we say China po, let me be clear, we mean CCP, which is the Chinese Communist Party, which is only a small part of China, who is responsible for the atrocities being done in the Philippines. So, under nila itong Chinese Coast Guard. Hindi natin inaaway, no, ang mga Chinese people in general, no. Marami po talagang mababait na Chinoys lalo, no, na lumaki tayo, kasama na natin sila. There are with us in businesses and all. So CCP po ang tinutukoy natin dito. And with this, no, yung 9-line fictitious claim nila, they are saying that they are claiming almost the whole of South China Sea, which is the avenue of trade, no? 21% of global trade passes through the South China Sea. $3.31 trillion on average ang trade na dumadaan dyan. So, yung pinya natin, saging, lahat ng ini-export natin, no, dumadaan dyan sa South China Sea. So, no one country wants to pay toll fees to China just because they said kanila ang 9-line, yung South China Sea. And ang nakakapaloob po sa South China Sea is the green line, which is the West Philippine Sea. Yung West Philippine Sea, by arbitral ruling, states that Every country is entitled to a 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone. So yung 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone natin is called the West Philippine Sea. So nasa loob siya ng South China Sea. And ang term po na ginagamit natin dito, ang yaman ng West Philippine Sea ay para sa Pilipino. So with the EEZ, lahat ng nasa ilalim ng tubig sa atin yon. So fish, no, oil, minerals, gas, everything that's underneath the water is the property of the Philippines in our exclusive economic zone. So yun nga no, by the term itself, exclusive economic zone. So exclusively atin ang nasa ilalim niyan. So yun po, for us to defend ourselves in the geopolitical tensions, because sa usaping ito, we came up with the Comprehensive Archipelagic Defense Concept under the DND. Ano po ito? Yung CADC, Comprehensive Archipelagic Defense Concept, by the term itself, komprehensibang pamamaraan kung paano natin dedepensahan ang ating bansa bilang isang archipelago. So, ang nakakapaloob sa CADC, we will put up bases to defend our island chains, no? So, andyan yung bases, nandyan po yung EDCA sites. So, ang EDCA sites po, hindi siya pag-aari ng Amerikano. Pag-aari siya ng Pilipino. Pinondohan po ng Amerikano kasi pinalayas natin sila noong 1992 and they have to have facilities whenever they have balikatan exercises. So gagamitin lang nila yon pag balikatan, pero pag hindi nila ginagamit during balikatan, atin po yun. So mali pong sabihin no, na mayroon kasing US bases at nakatutok na daw yung missiles ng China sa US bases. Wala pong US bases sa Philippines. So that is all part of CADC and pati po pagtao doon. So may basis tayo, tatauhan natin siya. Paano? Konti lang po kami. So tulungan niyo po kami. So we're enjoining people to join us as reserve forces. Hindi po namin kayo ibabala sa kanyon, no? Kayo po, kung ano ang inyong kung anong strength, ang inyong mga specializations, yun ang gagampanan nyo. So pag doktor po kayo, you treat the wounded. Kapag ka po IT kayo, kami po na active ang nasa front lines, yung iniwan naming opisina, tatauhan nyo po. So, you please be free to come join us as reserve forces. Ito pong mga butihing nasa harapan po natin are reserve forces themselves. And it's very good to emulate po no, how they have been serving the country as well. And so, nandito yung AFP. For the CADC, we operationalize it po. So, the threat landscape out there, we can say they are everywhere. So, hindi tayo naghihintay no, ng darating with their ships and their aircrafts and come to invade us. No, they're already within our midst. They're in our education systems, in our political systems, Alice Guo. No? Education system, there's the Confucius Institute. No? Meron tayong politics, as I said, they're in our businesses and also in our media. So titingnan natin. Even in our military, we're looking at this very closely kasi may nakapasok po na isa, diba, na naging Coast Guard Auxiliary. So we're looking at all of these things that are all connected to be part of one grand plan. So kailangan po natin maging mapanuri dito. So these are evolving threats. We have state-sponsored attacks and espionage that we're facing, cybercrime and ransomware targeting Philippine institutions, disinformation, yan lagi, no? And psychological operations, and of course, critical infrastructure vulnerabilities. So, what are we doing to regain our cyber posture? So, with this, we have to be ready, no? So, Armed Forces of the Philippines, we detect, we defend, and we respond. Those three things, no? We integrate our cyber defenses in operations planning as well. So ngayon, ito pong like-minded nations alliances natin, sabi nga nila, hindi lahat gustong sumunod, no, na may mag-angkin sa South China Sea. So with this, meron tayong SOVFA, Status of Visiting Forces Agreement with with South Korea, with Australia, no, with Canada. EU is also trying to join in, and we have an RAA with Japan, Reciprocal Access Agreement. So lahat po ito, we're trying to strengthen our alliances with like-minded nations and well-meaning nations, kasama na dito itong cyber defenses natin. So maa-address nito yung borderless nature ng cyber. So there are challenges and gaps, no? Sabi nga natin, to build a stronger cyber defense, kailangan nating i-address ito. We have a limited number of cyber warriors and expertise. Kasi it takes time to groom, no, and to train a cyber warrior. So ito pong mga elderly natin na talagang lumaki na sa cyber domain, baka naman, sirs, pwede din po kayong mag-join as reserve forces, no? And we have outdated infrastructures, no? So meron tayong legacy systems na kailangan nating i-modernize, no? We also have the need for unified doctrine and sustained funding. So tulong-tulong tayo dito. Lalo na po, ang dinadaanan natin ng networks are telcos, and our telcos are commercial, no? So kailangan po mag-join tayo dyan at pagtulungan natin. So we need fast evolving threats din, no? Yung versus slower adaptation cycles. So kailangan we have to keep pace kasi napakabilis ng technology. Nandito tayo sa cyber, and now AI, meron na ding blockchain, no? Meron ng quantum computing. So there's a lot of buzzwords out there. So we really need to keep up. So kayo na nasa tech field, we really have to move faster and be up with the times. So itong AI-driven attacks, nandiyan na po. Dati, troll farms yun. May isang tao, may multiple cellphones siya yung nagpapadala ng message, napakaraming ano. Ngayon po, with AI, it just takes certain keywords and meron ng automatic na sumasagot sa mga messages nyo. So sa social media, yan talaga yung labanan, no? Whoever gets the attention span, and of course, kung sino yung makakonvince dito sa mga pinapalabas dun sa social media. So fake news is one big thing. So AI also in the use of military. So sa military po, the use of AI is much malaki ang effect because we are in the business of human lives. So pag nagkamali kami with AI, we can lose human lives, no? So ang kasi sa AI is equal to machine learning. So it is dependent on algorithms. So pag mali yung algorithms natin, there's two things that we have to address: AI bias and AI ethics, no? AI bias, so say example in health, pagka daw puti yung nag-encode, no? You are most likely to be, pagka black person or a brown person ka, you'll most likely be diagnosed with cancer. Kasi nga, yung algorithms niya, sa kanila lang so that's AI bias. AI ethics, no? Because it's dependent on the algorithms, susunod lang siya kung ano yung binigay mo. So yung ang analogy, di ba, ng self-driving car who loses control going down the hill, and if it goes straight, it hits a young person. If it veers to the right, it hits an old person who hasn't crossed the street. And if it veers to the left, it will hit a tree and kill the driver. So if you are the one who's gonna write the algorithm for that self-driving car, whose life will you save? So yun po yung AI ethics, no? Kailangan ma-address din ito. But there is no country in the world yet who has a law on AI. Kaya, ang pinupush natin is the responsible use of AI. And another grueling thing is, yun pong ating aqua cables, yung underwater cables natin. They're also being made at risk and a threat. No? In Taiwan, no, the Chinese dropped anchor and dragged that anchor 100 kilometers. So, tatamaan talaga yung mga aqua cable. And if that happens, we lose internet, what's our plan B? No? So yung mga yan, lalo na, we're shifting towards e-government and consolidated na mga systems. So with this also, one type of AI is the LLM, Large Language Model. So itong pinakasikat na LLM na sa atin lahat, ChatGPT. But China came up with their own LLM, which is called DeepSeek. And if you ask the same question, both LLMs will give different answers. So ChatGPT says Philippines owns the West Philippine Sea, but if it's DeepSeek that you use, it will say that it's owned by China. So kailangan, dyan pa lang, even the applications that we download, maging mapanuri tayo. Pagka pala mayroon po palang oras dito, nakakakaba. Lumalabas na ako, sir, puting sa bilog. Dahil dito sa oras Oo, pero hindi mo siya pwedeng i-ignore. Ang laki-laki po kasi niya. So pasensya na po kayo. Bilis-bilis ko magsalita. Parang hinihingal na nga po ako Okay lang daw. Salamat po, sir. magbabayad po tayo ng overtime. So, building a stronger posture, dito po, no? Yun po yung gusto nating mangyari. So, with this, we intensified our cyber defense capabilities. How do we strengthen our cyber workforce? Ngayon po, nagre-recruit kami ng cyber warriors. And what's good with that is that the younger generations are tech are all techie, no? So they're tech generation. So madali lang yung learning curve nila, much better than the older generation. So we are looking at having a very good cyber warrior in the future to man our drones then and all and whatnot, no, for our modernization. So we modernize our systems and infrastructures in cooperation with the revitalized Self-Reliance Defense Posture Act. So ang sinasabi nito, kaya natin na masustain yung pangangailangan natin for defense internally. So ang primary priority po dito, yung indigenous na materials that we will use and of course, yung skill set ng mga Pilipino. So we also expand regional and global partnerships. Sabi ko kanina, we strengthened our alliances with like-minded nations and well-meaning nations. That's how we're doing it. And we develop offensive and defensive cyber capabilities. So the best defense daw is offense, no? But we are a defensive nation, so we really don't do offensive cyber, no? So we leave that to our black ops na mga allies yan. So with that, we have revitalized our Re-Horizon 3 projects. So yun? I-review po natin yung modernization natin and nakita natin na we have to modernize our systems with 3 things: more naval assets, aerial assets, and of course, cybersecurity. So with that, it is a whole-of-nation approach. So hindi po kaya ito ng sandatahang lakas ng Pilipinas na kami lang po. So with this, and cyber, hindi po yan purview lamang ng AFP, no? It is a whole-of-government approach, and we also want to positivize cyber, no? So yung cyber, other than thinking na it's all hacking and spamming and all, there's a lot of good in cyber, no? There's learning in cyber, there's communication in cyber, there's research in cyber, there's a lot, no?